Hello everyone, my name is Swig and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. For this video, I'll be discussing the top skills that every player should rush to not only enhance their overall experience in the game, but how to become a real Viking. These skills have been tried and tested by me, and I have completed the game in the hardest difficulty for all three categories: combat, stealth, and exploration. The criteria for these skills are based upon three things: their utility, reliability, and effectiveness. The skills depicted in this video are going to be as following: Brush with Death, Breakfall, Auto Loot, Heavy Dual Wielding, and Stealth Recon. Let us start with the first skill, Brush with Death. Brush with Death is, in my own opinion, the strongest skill in the game currently. The skill is activated by pressing the dodge button right before the enemy's weapon strikes you, creating this slow motion effect. This allows you to immediately counter any enemy in the game. In this clip, I'm fighting a zealot with a large shield. The large shield is obviously a pain in my ass to get around, so we make use of Brush with Death's slow motion effect and counter her whenever she strikes at me. For defensive enemies such as this zealot, this is probably the best strategy to engage her and other bosses, especially if you're an aggressive player. Brush with Death has no cooldown, so be sure to dodge everything you can to maximize your DPS and survival rate. I absolutely recommend anyone and everyone that's starting off this series to rush this skill in the Raven Tree. This skill is extremely invaluable and should be included in anyone's build, especially when they're playing at the harder level of content on the hardest difficulty. The next skill in the game is Breakfall. This one's pretty self-explanatory. If you notice the damage observed in this first clip, you see how much has been taken off. But with the skill actually properly activated, you'll see that Eivor will jump and do a nice little roll, and you'll see that you take less damage. And for the next two skills, it's going to be Auto Loot and Heavy Dual Wielding. The reason why I featured these together in the same clip is because I actually inadvertently captured this event on one clip. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Auto Loot is actually super handy, especially when you're a stealth player such as myself, and every assassin kill you net automatically picks whatever the enemy had, saving you time from sweeping the entire camp from a second time. Heavy Dual Wielding opens the game's weapon combinations by hundreds, while also increasing your DPS. Here in this clip, you see me wielding a great sword as well as a sax. The great sword gives me the damage and wide strikes to damage multiple enemies in one go, while the sax's secondary function is for getting in and stabbing an enemy multiple times and even stunning them before jumping back to safety. Heavy Dual Wielding essentially opens up every weapon combination in the game, because let's be honest, who doesn't want to be a Viking raider wielding two Dane axes and slicing everything in his path? And finally, the last skill is Stealth Recon. Stealth Recon is great for the stealthy Vikings who are dedicated to immersion mode as well as hardcore mode. Stealth Recon is a passive skill that activates when you're incognito and automatically highlights enemies for you. In hardcore mode, this is especially useful. Unless you build a dedicated stealth character with minimal weight, it is very useful to see which enemies are often oriented to. Knowing the orientation of the enemies is extremely beneficial to any player. I would say that this benefit is actually a little bit more critical with hardcore mode, where the enemy, usually if they're just facing you, they can spot you pretty much immediately. So this might have a lot more use in a little bit in the lower difficulties. But here you can see me activate Odin's Vision, and all the enemies in the area have this persistent red highlight glow. And the effect pretty much stays persistent throughout the entire time. There's no cooldown, there's no duration. It pretty much persists the entire time. So it's really useful to see where guards are facing, where they're at. If they're patrolling, it tracks them live. So this is pretty much, I would say, a must skill for anyone that likes to play the game in any type of stealth fashion. And so that concludes my top 5 skills for anyone to have in their repertoire as they explore Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know this has kind of been a short 5-minute video. I just want to tell everyone that's actually took the time to view this video, give my deepest thanks. I appreciate everyone that's taken the time to observe this. I kind of just recently started this whole YouTube thing. I've also really just recently started Twitch streaming. I'm still kind of, figuring the ropes out and learning everything. I actually took me quite a bit of time to edit this stuff together, mostly because I picked up Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's actually a pretty solid program, but with me using a new program, I had to determine how to use it. So I had to take a lot of tutorials, and it was quite the experience. So I'm also going to be exploring what kind of content I should be doing. I don't know if I should be continuing to do like game guides or if I should do, you know, some more other intriguing stuff. But honestly, I really just want to dip my feet into the ponds that is YouTube and streaming. So I appreciate anyone that give me any advice or feedback in the videos would be great. Just leave a comment. I mean, any comment I feel like, even no matter how negative or positive it is always going to be constructive in some way. So I appreciate anyone taking the time and showing me what I can and can't do, or even like great methods of improvement. I really appreciate it. But for now, if y'all appreciate the content that I did manage to produce, please hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell. And if you take the opportunity to view me on Twitch, I'd also greatly appreciate it. But for now, I will say this. Until next time, peace.